Hey everyone, this is Jeffrey from Honda Morristown, and behind me I have a CRV. Now, I have had another CRV on the channel, and I'm sure I will have more, but I wanted to show this one because there is one distinct difference. You can go and look at the other CRV video I have just to see and do kind of like a side-by-side comparison here, but this one is a hybrid CRV, specifically a 2022 hybrid touring. So not only is there a difference in trim levels from this one and the other CRV that I have there's also a couple years in technology, and well, I'd love to just kind of go over a couple of those things and see what those differences are, as well as different things that I like about the hybrid versus the other CRV as well. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the walk around here. Now, right away, you'll note that there's not really a ton different in the body style. It is still that same general look as it hadn't been redesigned yet. There are some minor differences in terms of some of the shape and things, but overall, it is the same general look. Now, coming to the back end, you'll see there it is nice and easy. Now, the first difference, though, is the hybrid touring does have that power lift gate. Push a button there, and it does go up on its own, where the other one that I showed, lower trim level, did not have that. It just had the, like what I like to call that hydraulic assist. Now, coming inside, you do see it does still have all of that great CRV storage space. And you'll see it does come with a removable cover here, and those seats do fold flat just like the other one. Now, all said and done, the biggest difference there is that power lift gate, as well as having that extra add-on there. But otherwise, you just push that button like normal, and it does close on its own, which is a nice feature. Otherwise, again, this one in particular is in pretty great shape on the outside, no real marks or mars. And as usual, if you do have any specific questions or anything specific you'd like to see in a little bit more detail, please feel free to let me know, leave a comment, whatever you would like. Also, if you do have, if you are enjoying seeing what I do here, please do let me know. It helps me, lets me know what you want to see more of, all that good stuff. And do feel free to subscribe if you feel so inclined to really stay up to date with all the ones that I post. I usually post a few times a day. But for the moment, we are going to hop on inside this CRV. So again, right away, difference there. You do have a nice leather interior. Again, that does come from the trim level. With this being a hybrid touring, does have leather in that front and back, all in nice shape there. You do also have a power moonroof as well with that slide cover, all nice and easy there. And you can see one other big change is actually one thing that I want to start on right away. With that other CRV, you had a physical shifter, where here it has that redesigned shifter that is more common in new CRVs, as well as those higher trim levels. So we'll climb on in here, and we'll get it fired up. Now, one other thing to point out right away, on the door, you do see some seat memory as well. So you can program in a couple of different seat positions. Nice and easy, very handy if you have a couple of people that are maybe different heights and trade-off driving. You can program them for that. Otherwise, it is a push button start right there. Just press and hold, and it fires right up. Now, it is running, because it is a hybrid, it is currently on that electric motor and not on the gas motor. Most likely, as I am talking, you will hear that gas engine kick on, just because it does balance between the two to make sure the battery stays charged and the car running. You can see right away, it does have that nice display there. You can see it's got fuel indicator on that side and battery indicator over on that side. Then you do have, this other gauge here. You got the digital speed, mileage, all of that good stuff there. Now, one thing to note, as I believe I have talked about before, but just in case I haven't, or you haven't seen one of those videos, these hybrids are not necessarily a plug-in hybrid. They usually use processes like regenerative braking and the engine itself to actually charge the battery. And there you can hear it kicked on, and that little EV disappeared because it is running on that gas motor. So enough about that. If you do have more specific questions, feel free to ask. Be more than happy to do a specific video kind of just chatting about that. Otherwise, Honda does have a ton of resources available talking about their EV engines that are probably going to be a little bit more informative than some of the things that I know, as they are the ones that, you know, design them. But coming over here, one main difference here, I know in the other CRV video I talked about having that shifter right here and how much I enjoyed that. It is still here, just a little bit different style. It is more of that push button as opposed to an actual like shifter. I don't mind myself. I still like the placement of it here. It still feels really nice to have it just slightly elevated and a little bit farther forward than your traditional location here, especially since you do get this nice big contact charging pad as well, that you wouldn't necessarily get if that shifter was down here. So I do appreciate that as well. I personally don't mind it being buttons. I don't think most people will. It's just something a little bit different if you've only ever had one versus the other. You can see there are a couple different drive modes there, just the push of a button, as well as dual zone climate control, which are all easy to navigate buttons right in there. Here, you can sync there. You do have rear defrost as well as mirror defrost as well. And you can see here on the screen, there is navigation built in that you can get to easily just by tapping a button. Now, that also is something that I really appreciate, is how quickly the navigation screen does come up when you go. Now, it might be just because I've been sitting here for a minute, but it does pop up fairly quickly, which I know sometimes navigation screens will take a decent amount to load up and kind of go in. This one's been pretty responsive, at least in the couple of times that I've turned it off and on. So I do really appreciate that. Otherwise, very easy to navigate menu, as with many of Honda's menus. And you have some controls on the steering wheel as well, including a heated steering wheel button, which, being from somewhere cold, I really appreciate that little feature. Otherwise, you just have a few other buttons here and there that go to different things. So all in all, it's a CRV. It's a really great CRV. If you have seen the other CRV video that I made, you will know I am a big fan of CRVs. We've got family that have them. They're just nice cars. This one, with it being a hybrid, that gas mileage is already going to be improved upon, even though it already is fairly good, especially for an SUV this size. So personally, my recommendation, come on down, drive them yourselves to see the difference, as a lot of people are kind of apprehensive about hybrids. After driving some of these, I personally don't understand why, but you don't have to take my word for it. Located at Honda Morristown, Tennessee. Love to have you come on down, ask for me, and I can answer any questions that you might have. Otherwise, I will leave you with this, the 2022 Honda CRV Hybrid.